Good evening, welcome to Left, Right and Centre. On the show tonight, if you thought the crisis in the Punjab Congress was coming to an end, think again. In what seems to be increasingly like a comedy, Navjot Singh Sidhu is now resigned as Punjab Congress chief. He is presently being placated by those close to him, telling him, please perhaps consider withdrawing that resignation. What has happened today has delivered a huge shock to the Gandhis, who may have hoped that changing chief ministers would help end the turmoil in the state before the elections early next year, less than 100 days away. Now this is Amrinder Singh's big I told you so moment. He says in a tweet that Sidhu is not stable. He tweeted that out earlier today. Today was meant to be a day of celebration for the Congress, with Kanhaiya Kumar joining. Kanhaiya joining the party was clearly overshadowed by the developments in Punjab. So that's going to be our big first debate. We are going to be looking very closely at what this means for the leadership of the Congress, the situation in Punjab itself, and where it actually leaves people in the state. What do they expect if they see a crisis like this which just keeps on going? Next up, a 19-year-old Pakistani teenager. A terrorist is caught alive in Uri as the anniversary of the Uri terror attack approaches. Is the ceasefire along the line of control just a facade for Pakistan to push in terrorists into India? General Satish Dua will be joining me for that. The author Chetan Bhagat joins me. We look not just at his new book, but also about his views on the political crisis in Punjab and within the Congress. But first, let's quickly move on to the big political crisis in Punjab. I'm joined now by the senior Congress leader, Ashwini Kumar. So thanks very much for being with us. All throughout, Rahul Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi Vadra had backed Navjot Singh Sidhu. Amrinder Singh was replaced as chief minister. Now Navjot Singh Sidhu goes and does this. Where does that leave the leadership of the party?
Well, there's no doubt that the leadership had fully backed Mr. Sidhu. A lot of political capital was invested in him. His decision to resign has certainly come as a bolt from the blue. It is an unexpected and an unpleasant surprise. It was not expected. Now, as far as the decision to nominate him in the first place is concerned, I would like to tell you, Vishnu, that extensive consultations on the subject took place. You are aware that so many MLAs from Chandigarh came down and discussed individually and collectively the entire issue.
Yes.
And based on a consensus, a wide consensus, he was actually made the PCC president, despite the then chief minister's displeasure. So I think it was not expected of Mr. Sidhu to have resigned and made his resignation public without an opportunity for the central leadership to engage with him with a view to addressing his legitimate grievances, if any. He was on board on almost all the issues, and I wish this had not happened. And I cannot say more than that, because I'm not really privy to what made him take this extreme decision just as we were about to enter the polls. Polls are upon us, and Punjab is a state
the question
where Congress
therefore,
has an...
and this is what your political opponents will be alleging or stating, that this is just a matter of time before Navjot Singh Sidhu, despite that last line in his letter to Sonia Gandhi, despite that last line saying that he'll stay in the Congress, he's actually looking to go to another political party. How would you respond to that?
Well, I don't know. I wouldn't like to speculate. I can't enter into the mental processes of any individual, leave aside a political leader. And if he does want to chart an independent course, so be it. Nobody can stop anybody in a free country to take such political decisions as one is advised or inclined to take. But I think a Congress gave him a lot of prestige, gave him a huge platform. We had thought that this would end well for the Congress. We are unpleasantly surprised, but I can assure you of one thing, that a corrective will be applied much sooner than is expected, because we are aware of the urgency of the situation. Elections are upon us, and we are in an election mode.
Does that corrective include a possible decision of removing Navjot Singh Sidhu?
Well, he's already resigned.
No, I'm
unless
saying,
he
should there be
retracts
action against him in the Congress for bringing instability to your government in the state?
Well, I don't know whether whether this is the preferred step at this point of time, and certainly I am no one
It's
to
party
comment on
discipline,
that.
sir. At the end
Congress
of the day,
leadership-
I'm asking you as a senior Congress leader, among the most senior. This is an out and out case of party discipline being missing for all the reasons that you spelt out. So when does the Congress party actually say enough is enough?
Well, I think this is a call that the central leadership would take, and let me tell you that they are fully seized of the matter, and I think before long you will hear something on this issue. I think this has been an extreme step. Mr. Navjot Sidhu, at a personal level is a good person. I have known him as a member of parliament. He was my colleague in parliament. But he does take decisions the way he has taken this one, and I am nobody to comment on how he must conduct himself in politics, but I want to say that politics is the art of the possible. Compromises have to be made in politics. Everything doesn't happen as one wants.
But Mr.
That's
Kumar,
the art
has
of
there been any
democratic,
effort in the last
politics.
couple of hours by the top Congress leadership who've been missing in action in terms of addressing or making statements to people across the country who want to know just what is happening? Has there been any effort from them to reach out to Navjot Sidhu to say, look, please stop it, let's get the job done?
Well, I'm sure party would have reached out to him. I'm not personally aware of that, but I assume, because that is the Congress way, we do want to know what went wrong. And the Chief Minister of Punjab is on record on your TV stating that he's going to go to Mr. Sidhu and address the issues. I hope things are reconciled. I hope there's still a scope of reconciliation, but it will all depend upon the attitude of Mr. Sidhu.
All right, thank you for being so forthright, but I must ask you another final question, Mr. Ashwini Kumar. The question of leadership in the Congress party at this juncture. Rahul Gandhi has spoken and has repeatedly criticized the Prime Minister, for example, for not addressing the media in a free manner, press conferences. Rahul Gandhi in the past has always had press conferences. But in the moment when the party faces this huge crisis, whether it's Goa yesterday, Punjab today, Madhya Pradesh earlier on, Rajasthan earlier on, why is he not speaking today? Why is he not gone on record, or Priyanka Gandhi gone on record and say, look, this is what we are thinking? Don't people have a right to know?
Well, Vishnu, the answer is quite obvious. They are busy solving the situation. They are busy conversing with the people they need to converse with, and to come to a decision rather than addressing press conferences. It is people like us and the other senior leaders of the Congress party who are always available to the media. We have never felt shy of facing the media. But the top leadership of the party is not expected to be before the cameras when their attention is required in the calm of their offices or their conference rooms to solve complex situations. And that is exactly what
Okay,
Mr.
well,
Rahul Gandhi
let's
is
hope
doing.
there are some answers once this complex situation is solved. But as usual, thank you so much for being very forthright and direct in your answers. We are joined now by Surinder Dalla. He's the media advisor of Navjot Singh Sidhu. Thanks, sir, very much for being with us. Now, Amrinder Singh, who stepped down earlier as Chief Minister, has alleged that Navjot Singh Sidhu is going to join another party. Is that true?
देखिए, ये सब मीडिया की स्पेकुलेशंस लग रही हैं. हमें नहीं लगता कि कैप्टन अमरिंदर जी कहीं और जाएंगे, क्योंकि पहले ही उनके जो मीडिया एडवाइजर हैं उन्होंने आज एक ट्वीट किया था और बड़ा उन्होंने क्लियर कर दिया.
नहीं, मैं आपसे पूछ रहा हूं, नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू और किसी पार्टी में जाएंगे? अमरिंदर सिंह को कहना है कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू शायद और किसी पार्टी पे जा रहे हैं, तो मैं आपसे ये पूछ रहा हूं कि वो जा रहे हैं या नहीं?
बिल्कुल, ये कोई कंफ्यूजन रहा होगा कैप्टन अमरिंदर जी को. नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी कांग्रेस में ही रहेंगे, और नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी की लड़ाई है जो वो मुद्दों की लड़ाई है, वो प्रिंसिपल सिद्धांतों की लड़ाई है. और ये पंजाब के हक के लिए लगातार नवजोत जी जिन आवाजों को बुलंद करते रहे हैं, आज मौका था जब हमारी नई सरकार आई है.
पर राहुल जी या प्रियंका गांधी वाड्रा को बिना बताए, बिना पूछे, उन्होंने सिर्फ एक रेजिग्नेशन लेटर ट्वीट कर दिया. कोई कंसल्टेशन नहीं रहा. उनका जो मुश्किलें थे, दबाव जो भी था, इस बारे में कोई डिस्कशन नहीं हुआ. उन्होंने बस ऐसे ही रिजाइन कर दिया. लोगों को क्या समझना चाहिए इसमें?
देखिए, लोगों को यह समझना चाहिए कि कोई भी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी है या कोई इंडिविजुअल है जो इलेक्टेड रिप्रेजेंटेटिव है, उसके लिए सबसे पहले प्राइम इशू है वो अपनी स्टेट का इशू है. और आज भी जब हमारी नई गवर्नमेंट यहां बनी है तो बड़ा जरूरी था कि जिन मुद्दों पर स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट ने लोगों में गए, स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट, उसके लिए वो लगातार उन्होंने आवाज बुलंद
पर ये मुद्दे थे क्या?
मैं आ रहा हूं, मैं उसी बात पे आ रहा हूं सर, मैं उसी बात पे आ रहा हूं। और जो सरकार होती है वो संगठन से निकल के आती है
जी।
किसी भी प्रदेश की सरकार हो, पार्टी चुनावों में जाती है और फिर सरकार आती है। और मेरा ये मानना है, मेरा ये ओपिनियन है कि एक बिल्कुल छोटे लेवल की नहीं, बड़े लेवल की काफी बड़ी कोऑर्डिनेशन चाहिए किसी भी गवर्नमेंट में और स्टेट प्रेसिडेंट में। और जिस भी स्टेट में प्रेसिडेंट और सीएम, क्योंकि सरकार भी संगठन से आती है, संगठन के प्रेसिडेंट और सीएम अगर यूनैनिमसली डिसीजन करेंगे उन इश्यूज पर जिस पे वो स्ट्रगल करते रहे हों, तो मुझे लगता है फिर बहुत अच्छा डिलीवर लोगों को हो पाएगा।
नहीं सुरेंद्र जी, मैं नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू का स्टेटमेंट जो उन्होंने सोनिया गांधी को इस चिट्ठी में लिखा था, मैं पढ़ना चाहता हूं और आपसे एक सवाल पूछना चाहता हूं। उन्होंने कहा था, द कोलैप्स ऑफ अ मैन्स कैरेक्टर स्टेम्स फ्रॉम द कॉम्प्रोमाइज कॉर्नर, आई कैन नेवर कॉम्प्रोमाइज ऑन पंजाब फ्यूचर। किस कॉम्प्रोमाइज के बारे में वो कह रहे हैं? जिस कैबिनेट में कई नेता थे जिनको वो सपोर्ट नहीं कर रहे थे, शायद सिद्धू जी ने सोचा होगा कि इनको नहीं लिया जाना चाहिए था। प्रॉब्लम ये था सिलेक्शन पे नए कैबिनेट में।
देखिए, दो चीजें हैं। अगर यूनैनिमस डिसीजन होगा, अगर सभी लोग कुछ सेंसिटिव इश्यूज पर, देखिए मुख्यमंत्री का प्रेरोगेटिव है कि वो किसी को भी अपनी कैबिनेट में लाना चाहें वो ला सकते हैं, उस पर किसी को कोई इतराज नहीं है। लेकिन मुख्यमंत्री हो या बड़े प्रशासनिक अधिकारी हो, मेरा ये ओपिनियन है जिनकी भी सिलेक्शन हम लोग करने जा रहे हैं, हमको सबसे पहले ये समझना पड़ेगा कि उनकी सिलेक्शन से पब्लिक में क्या मैसेज आएगा। क्या जो बात हम पब्लिक में कहते रहे हैं, इन लोगों की सिलेक्शन से पब्लिक को ये तो नहीं लगेगा कि हम कॉम्प्रोमाइज कर गए?
नहीं सुरेंद्र जी, आप मेरे सवाल को डायरेक्टली आंसर नहीं कर रहे। आप मतलब आप बड़े लेवल पे आंसर कर रहे हैं। स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन ये है, और मैं फिर से मैं डायरेक्टली आपसे पूछ रहा हूं। सूत्रों के अनुसार नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू एसएस रंधावा के बारे में नाखुश थे। उनको एक मंत्री, एक की मिनिस्ट्री दिया गया था और शायद नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू ये नहीं चाह रहे थे। तो ये बात सच है या नहीं?
आप एक बार दोबारा मेरे से सवाल करेंगे?
नहीं, एसएस रंधावा को जो मंत्री, जो मिनिस्ट्री दिया गया था, बताया जा रहा है कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू इससे खुश नहीं थे। यह सच है या नहीं?
नहीं, किसी इंडिविजुअल को कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री मिली ये इशू नहीं है। सैद्धांतिक तौर पर सबसे बड़ी बात यह है कि जो 18 पॉइंट तय हुए थे, क्या हम पहले दिन से उन 18 पॉइंट्स को एड्रेस करने की दिशा में हम आगे बढ़े हैं? सबसे बड़ी बात तो यही है ना सर। पंजाब में कैप्टन अमरिंदर जी से भी नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी की कोई पर्सनल नाराजगी नहीं है। इशू बेस्ड दोनों की सोच में इशू बेस्ड
इश्यूज भी तो काफी थे। सैक्रिलेज इशू एक इशू था, कुछ अपॉइंटमेंट्स थे जिसमें शायद नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू इन अपॉइंटमेंट्स को एक्सेप्ट नहीं किए। तो अपॉइंटमेंट्स के बारे में, डीजीपी के अपॉइंटमेंट के बारे में या सैक्रिलेज इशू के बारे में अमरिंदर सिंह जैसे कि इन मुद्दों को हैंडल किया, इस बारे में मुश्किल थे।
देखिए, जैसे आपने दोनों तीनों इश्यूज की बात की, अभी भी बड़ा जरूरी था कि जब हमारे लिए वक्त है कि इन इश्यूज को हमने सॉर्ट आउट करना है, तो क्या हम वैसी टीम आगे ला रहे हैं जिसको पब्लिक भी मान ले कि यस, आप लोग इन इश्यूज को हैंडल करोगे। तो ये पॉइंट तो इंपॉर्टेंट है जी। इस पे सरकार को भी सोचना चाहिए, इसको डिसाइड करने से पहले।
नहीं, पर अमरिंदर सिंह तो नहीं है अब एक नया चीफ मिनिस्टर है जी। आपको ये कहना है कि चन्नी साहब के साथ नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू, मतलब उनके बीच में कोई प्रॉब्लम है? उनके बीच में कोई मुद्दा रहा?
प्रॉब्लम नहीं है। जो आइडियल कंडीशन बनती वो ये बनती, जो मेरे हिसाब से
जी, कि
सरकार और संगठन अपनी लाइन पे आगे बढ़ता। संगठन और सरकार की लाइन क्या थी? कंफ्यूजन यही था ना जी। कैप्टन साहब रिजाइन कर गए, वरना कैप्टन साहब भी अगर संगठन की लाइन के साथ चलते तो क्या प्रॉब्लम थी? कैप्टन साहब भी
कैप्टन साहब तो अब है नहीं। आपका जो
जी।
मेन मुद्दा था कि कैप्टन साहब को चीफ मिनिस्टर नहीं होना चाहिए, वो सोनिया गांधी।
तो जो अगली
जी
तो जब
मैं
सरकार,
आपको, चन्नी साहब सीएम है, तो इस
देखिए, जो
स्थिति
नई
में
सरकार है,
रिजाइन करने का क्या जरूरत था?
सर जो नई सरकार है वो उसके ज्यादातर लोग भी कैप्टन साहब से यही चाहते थे कि हम 18 पॉइंट्स पे काम करें, आगे बढ़े। लेकिन जो नई सरकार है, मुझे लगता है कि उसको संगठन की भावनाओं के अनुरूप, लोगों की भावनाओं के अनुरूप कुछ इश्यूज पर बहुत सोच समझ कर डिसीजन करना चाहिए था, बहुत सोच समझ कर डिसीजन करना चाहिए था। क्योंकि जो संगठन है किसी भी पार्टी का,
किन लोगों के बारे किन लोगों के बारे में आप बोल रहे हैं?
देखिए, जो ऑफिशियल लेवल पे कुछ अपॉइंटमेंट्स हुई हैं।
नहीं तो किस अपॉइंटमेंट्स? आप डायरेक्टली क्यों नहीं जवाब देते?
नहीं, मैं स्पेसिफिक नहीं करूंगा क्योंकि
नहीं, कर लीजिए ना, क्योंकि लोगों को पता होना चाहिए।
वो पंजाब के लोग
एक
सारी बात
पॉलिटिकल
को समझते हैं।
क्राइसिस है कांग्रेस में, पंजाब में। आप नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी अगर एक डिसीजन ले चुके हैं तो नाम बताइए, किसके बारे में, किस कारण उन्होंने इस्तीफा दिया है इस पद से?
नहीं, वो मैं आपकी बात को समझ रहा हूं। सरकार की भावना पहले दिन से उन इश्यूज को एड्रेस करने की दिशा में होनी चाहिए जो पार्टी ने पहले से तय कर रखी है। कांग्रेस पार्टी की जो लाइन थी, जो कांग्रेस पार्टी लगातार कह रही थी लोगों से कि हम ये करेंगे, तो लाइन तो सरकार की पहले दिन से वही होनी चाहिए थी। तो अगर सरकार बदलने के बाद भी सरकार पहले दिन से ही उस लाइन पे नहीं आएगी, तो फिर एक दो दिन से जो लोगों में धारणा बनी है, तो बात फिर लोगों के गुस्से की शुरू होती और हुई है। लोगों में कुछ डिसीजन को लेके नाराजगी है। हालांकि चरणजीत चन्नी जी का वेलकम है, नई सरकार के मुख्यमंत्री आए हैं, सब लोग उनका वेलकम कर रहे हैं।
तो अब बॉटम लाइन क्या है सुरिंदर जी? अब मतलब बातचीत चल रहा है, अब नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू शायद अपना इस्तीफा वापस लेंगे, ऐसे कोई स्थिति बन सकता है?
नहीं, अभी इस बारे में तो मैं कुछ भी नहीं कह पाने की स्थिति में हूं। लेकिन मैं कई इश्यूज पर क्योंकि नवजोत जी की वो लाइन रही है, उन्होंने लगातार उन इश्यूज के हल के लिए फाइट की है, स्ट्रगल की है, और पंजाब के लोग भी वो चाह रहे हैं कि नवजोत जी की बात ठीक है।
मतलब अभी तक कोई कॉम्प्रोमाइज का कोई चांस नहीं है?
नहीं, कॉम्प्रोमाइज वाली तो कोई इसमें इशू नहीं है। ये एक सिद्धांतिक बात है। नवजोत जी ने अपनी बात रखी है। उन्होंने रखा है कि अगर जो पार्टी की लाइन है, अगर पार्टी की लाइन पे अगर हम नहीं काम करेंगे तो प्रदेश के संगठन का जो प्रधान है वो लोगों को क्या कहेगा जाके।
तो 100 दिन सिर्फ बचे हैं सुरिंदर जी, इसके बाद इलेक्शंस, चुनाव होने वाले हैं। तो इन 100 दिन से कम जो टाइम पीरियड है, इसमें क्या सरकार चलाएंगे आप लोग इस स्थिति में?
नहीं, देखिए, सरकारें तो चलो चलेंगी, सरकारें तो चलती हैं, ये हर चीज के करेक्शन का टाइम होता है। अब अगर पॉलिटिकल डिसीजन जो हो रहे हैं, आगे वाले डिसीजन पे हम यही चाहेंगे कि सरकार बहुत अच्छे डिसीजन करे और यूनानिमस डिसीजन करने की कोशिश की जाए। और कोई भी डिसीजन करने से पहले, ये मेरा ओपिनियन है कि कोई भी डिसीजन करने से पहले जो जन भावना है, जो लोक भावना है, उसका ख्याल रखा जाना बड़ा जरूरी है।
सुरेंद्र जी, मैं आपको एक और बार पूछूंगा, जो एक सवाल जो मैंने आपसे पूछा, पहले भी पूछा था। नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू कांग्रेस छोड़ के और किसी पार्टी जा रहे हैं?
देखिए, नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी ने अपने रेजिग्नेशन में ही बहुत साफ कर दिया कि हम कांग्रेस में ही रहेंगे। नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी को मैंने 22 तारीख को, माफ कीजिएगा 18th को
जी,
जिस दिन सीएलपी की मीटिंग थी, उस दिन भी मैंने एक ट्वीट किया था, जिसमें पहले दिन हमने स्पष्ट कर दिया था, जिस दिन मीटिंग थी उस दिन सुबह, कि नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी की कुर्सी की लड़ाई नहीं है। क्योंकि कई लोगों को लगता था कि सीएलपी की मीटिंग है, शायद नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी मुख्यमंत्री बनना चाहते हैं। ऐसा नहीं था। और हम लोग ये भी नहीं चाहते थे कि कैप्टन अमरिंदर जी रिजाइन कर दें। सबको यही उम्मीद थी, संगठन की तरफ से सबको यही उम्मीद थी कि सीएलपी की मीटिंग है, कैप्टन अमरिंदर जी सीएलपी की मीटिंग में आएंगे और जो 18 पॉइंट्स का एजेंडा है, हाई कमांड से जो अप्रूव्ड है, उस पर डिस्कशन होगी, उस पर बात होगी, उसको लागू करने की दिशा में हम आगे बढ़ेंगे। और जिन विधायकों को कोई ऑब्जेक्शन है, वो अपनी बात रखेंगे और सीएलपी की मीटिंग में एक सहमति बनेगी कि हमको किन किन पॉइंट्स के लिए आगे जाना है।
ओके।
और ये भी तय हो सकता था उसमें कि हम कोशिश करेंगे कि अगर विधानसभा का सेशन हम लोग बुलाएं और जो बड़े बड़े डिसीजंस हैं जो पेंडिंग है, उनको जिनको किया जा सकता है वो करें। देखिए, पावर एक बहुत बड़ा मुद्दा है पंजाब में।
ओके सुरेंद्र जी, एक अंतिम सवाल, एक फाइनल क्वेश्चन आपसे। रजिया सुल्ताना ने इस्तीफा दिया है, आपके पार्टी के ट्रेजरर ने क्विट ने इस्तीफा दिया है, परगट सिंह शायद क्विट नहीं किए हैं, पर नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू के बाद और उनके जो समर्थक है कैबिनेट में वो भी अब इस्तीफा देंगे?
नहीं, देखिए, नवजोत जी ने किसी को इस्तीफे के लिए नहीं कहा, पहली बात तो है। और नवजोत जी सबको कह रहे हैं कि आप लोगों को इस्तीफा देने की जरूरत नहीं है, आप लोगों को जो ठीक लगता है आप करिए। तो नवजोत सिंह सिद्धू जी किसी से इस्तीफा दिलवाकर सरकार पे किसी तरह का संकट नहीं लाना चाहते। सिद्धू जी भी चाहते हैं कि सरकार चले, पर सरकार अपनी सोच के हिसाब से जो फैसले करे जी, सरकार पार्टी लाइन को भी ना छोड़े, और जो वायदे किए गए थे, जो 18 पॉइंट्स एजेंडा है, सरकार उसी पे भी चले।
All right. Okay, Surinder ji, thank you so much for clarifying a lot of the issues. No direct answers. No one really knows where this is going at this stage. But thank you for at least speaking to us in a fairly direct manner. Joining us now, and we're going to have a debate on this entire issue of the political crisis in Punjab, Parabant Singh Romana, National President of the Youth Akali Dal. We are also joined by Manjeet Rai, the General Secretary of the BJP in Punjab, Raghav Chadha of the Aam Aadmi Party, and Gulchain Singh Charak of the Punjab Congress. Thank you all very much for being with us. Raghav, Arvind Kejriwal apparently in Punjab tomorrow. Do you see this? Does the Aam Aadmi Party see this as a big opportunity?
Look, first of all, before I come to the politics of it, let me say this and say this not only as co-in-charge for the Aam Aadmi Party in the state of Punjab, but also as a Punjabi, that all Punjabis today feel insulted. The state of Punjab feels humiliated because Congress has essentially reduced Punjab to a state of anarchy. The ruling party of the state, the Congress party, is in a complete and an absolute state of anarchy. And can we expect these leaders who were voted into power with a thumping majority after a decadal rule of loot and corruption by the
Raghav,
Akali, with a lot of hope?
You've prefaced your political statement with another political statement. So tell us what's going to happen tomorrow onwards with Arvind Kejriwal.
No, Mr. Kejriwal is coming tomorrow.
Is he reaching out to Navjot Sidhu or other Congress leaders?
Look, first of all, Aam Aadmi Party has a solid, robust organization on the ground backed by an extremely well thought out, curated campaign. He is coming tomorrow to the city of Ludhiana to interact with the traders, and subsequently he is going to make certain announcements vis-a-vis our agenda for the state of Punjab and how do we wish to revive certain sectors of Punjab. But as far as the politics is concerned, Vishnu, please let me complete my point. That, you know, Punjab being a border state, Punjab being a state that shares roughly 553 kilometers of international border with Pakistan, is not a state that can be reduced to a state of political anarchy.
Okay.
And that is simply what the Congress has done. Now, can you expect these people who are selfish people, who are essentially doing this politics for self-serving purposes, who are playing these games of thrones, for a lack of a better word, for their own benefit, to do something for the welfare of Punjab?
All right, okay, you made that point. I need to get a response to that. Punjab. Let me get a response to that. Gulchain Singh Charak, how do you respond to that? That all that the Congress is doing, various leaders, is thinking about themselves.
पहले तो मुझे मैं आप करेक्ट कर दूं आपको कि मैं इस वक्त पंजाब से नहीं हूं. I was in charge of Punjab.
I know, I said that. I introduced you as former in charge of the Punjab Congress.
Yeah.
That's because your Punjab Congress spokespersons are not directly coming on this program.
Okay.
I mean, and that question have to be asked about that as well. But since you are here and you are with the Congress, if you can kindly answer.
क्या मैं एक बात आपको बता दूं कि ये इस वक्त जो इनका फैसला लेना टाइम भी गलत था और फैसला भी मैं कहता हूँ कि कोई प्रॉपरली जिस तरीके से इसको वेल थॉट डिसीजन होना चाहिए था वो नहीं ले सके. अब 3 महीने पहले इलेक्शन से 3 महीने पहले तो कैप्टन अमरिंदर को इस वक्त डिस्टर्ब नहीं करना चाहिए था. पहले भी मैंने कहा है
जी, आपके
चैनल पर मैंने कहा.
जी.
दूसरा, अगर उन्होंने किया तो प्रॉपरली इनके साथ डिस्कस करके कंप्लीट डिस्कशन के बाद जो ये कहते हैं वो भी सुनने के बाद पंजाब में जो इस वक्त चेंज करनी थी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर वो की जाती तो ठीक था. ये मैंने कहा है.
नहीं, ये सब आपने पहले कहा है. मैं आपको सिर्फ ये कह रहा हूँ राघव चड्डा ने अभी जो कहा है कि कांग्रेस लीडर्स आर ओनली थिंकिंग अबाउट देमसेल्व्स. Navjot Sidhu thinks about himself. Amrinder Singh today says that he is not stable. Some people are resigning, some people are staying. Your top leadership is not saying anything. So if you people are
very correct.
So how respond to that? Not what you said earlier on, sir. Respond to the present allegation.
100%. ये बिल्कुल ठीक कहा इन्होंने. इस वक्त जो सिचुएशन सामने है पंजाब के अंदर, वो बिल्कुल यही है जो आप कह रहे हैं, जो गलत है. पार्टी हाईकमांड ने जो डिसीजन लिया, मुझे लगता है कि सबको, पूरे सब लोगों को कॉन्फिडेंस में लेके, चाहे वो इंचार्ज थे, चाहे वो सिद्धू का पक्ष रखने वाले थे, और चाहे कैप्टन अमरिंदर का था, वो सब कुछ सोच के डिस्कस करके ये फैसला किया गया.
All right, let me take that across. No direct answers. I'm sorry, but Parabhansh Singh Romana, Mr. Romana, how do you see this situation developing? 100 days plus minus left for the elections to be notified, for the elections to be held after that. How do you actually see this progressing on the ground? The Congress was a very strong party in Punjab in the last elections. Do you believe that enough damage has taken place for you to have a real chance?
See, the situation today is that it is a naked war for power. None of the Congress people are concerned about what's happening in the state. It's a very sensitive situation happening in our border state, but they're not bothered. I was listening to somebody on your show, I think it was Mr. Sidhu's
media advisor, yes.
Yeah, media advisor, who was saying that he's taken a very principled stand. See, a lot of people outside of Punjab don't know Mr. Sidhu that closely. They've just watched him on that laughter show and they think that that's the image they have of him, and that is actually an image. But his true character is that he's never been calling Mr. Vajpayee his father figure, then Mr. Prakash Singh Badal his father figure, then Sonia Gandhi his mother figure, or whatever you would say, and got his political benefits from all of them. And secondly, the main issue which I wanted to highlight today, which his media advisor was saying, that public mein message kya ja raha hai. What is the public message when Mr. Sidhu, who talks about giving a clean administration, his wife is accused of taking money in CLUs when he was a minister? What is the public message when his car is full of the entire sand mafia, all the MLAs of the Congress party who are known to be sand mafias in Punjab? What is the public message when the first MLA he visits after becoming Congress president is Mr. Madan Lal Jalalpur, who's accused and whose illegal distilleries have been fought by this Congress government under media pressure?
Okay.
What is the public message? I want to ask the last question. When he backs to the hilt people like Mr. Raja Viding,
all right. 1 moment. I just want to go across to Manjit Rai. Mr. Rai, in a situation like this, does the BJP, you've had a falling out with the Akalis in the past, but do you see any possibility of some sort of reconciliation to join forces and take advantage of the vacuum that exists, particularly with, some would say, a resurgent Aam Aadmi Party in that state?
I want to say that in political system, it can be happen at any time. But so far as concerned, Mr. Sidhu and this drama is running in Punjab. That is for selfishness. Because they want to take the power with him, everyone. If Channi has become the chief minister, why Sidhu is doing?
That's the key question.
Before he was saying, Captain Sir, the captain is not doing anything.
In fact, let me put that question across to Mr. Charak. Sir, the battle in the Congress was between Amrinder Singh and Navjot Singh Sidhu. Amrinder Singh is no longer chief minister. Why is Navjot Singh Sidhu doing this to Mr. Channi?
देखिए, अब ये जो नई कैबिनेट के अंदर जो ये फैसला लिया है, जो चेहरे आए, मुझे लगता है उनमें डिफरेंसेस हैं, और नवजोत सिद्धू को अभी तक वो अपने आप कंप्रोमाइज नहीं कर सके कि जो वो ये सोचते थे कि मैं चीफ मिनिस्टर बनूंगा, वो उनको तकलीफ थी और आज भी है, और वो गवर्नमेंट को किस तरीके से चलाना चाहते थे वो उनके दिमाग में था,
I
वो
think
आज भी है,
that's an
वो
interesting
पूरा नहीं
statement that perhaps the ambition
That
of
is the main.
Navjot
That
Sidhu-
is the main. That is the main. He
What
wants to become
about-
the chief minister.
That's
the post of chief minister. All right, look, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you. I'm sorry I'm completely out of time. I have a couple of questions on coup, which people have asked. A couple of our readers and viewers. Shreya Singh asks, who is going to benefit more from this in the upcoming elections, the BJP or the Aam Aadmi Party? Another question from Amar Shah, who says, has the Congress forgotten to get out of a crisis? I think that's pertinent. They're in a crisis. Do they know how to get out of one? Well, we're going to take a short break at this stage. Coming up, a 19-year-old terrorist from Pakistan, a Lashkar terrorist captured in Uri. What does this mean for the India-Pakistan peace? Well, on now to the other big story today. A 19-year-old Pakistani terrorist, a teenager, is 19 years old, caught alive in Uri as the anniversary of the Uri terror attack approaches. Is the ceasefire along the line of control just a facade for Pakistan to push in terrorists into India? I'm joined by General Satish Dua. I'm also joined by the senior journalist in Islamabad, Omar Altaf. Thank you both very much for being with us. General Dua, to you first. We've got a lot of detail now about this 19-year-old boy. The village he came from, the amount of money that he was told that will go to his family. He's come from a poor background. And it is yet another example that the Pakistani establishment is talking about peace along the LOC while they're doing this. Is there any doubt about it?
No, I mean, how can there be any doubt about this? This is a very blatant attempt at infiltration while we have a ceasefire in place on the LOC. But right down to the date of the same date as they conducted the terror attack at Uri 5 years ago, an attempted infiltration. The details that we get from him is that they were tasked to do something else and carry stuff inside, but the kind of weapons and equipment that we are receiving, it is nearly certain that it was meant for carrying out a terror attack on the date that the Uri terror attack was carried out at Uri or around that time.
Right.
I want to make a point before I end here. Everything is about symbolism as far as terrorist violence is concerned. That is why you see, if a terrorist attacks some place, they take someone hostage, there are no personal enmities. It is done with a motive to attract attention. That is why around the national days, whether it's Independence Day, Republic Day, we get more attempts to try and do these things. And in that tone, this was perhaps to do or to carry out some terror attack when they tried to push in 6 or 7 infiltrators around this time and around the date, right, even the same location.
Omar, this is just a problem which keeps on going, and then, you know, if the ante is raised, then it results in surgical strikes and attacks and you know, India and Pakistan going to a near war state. Who's controlling things as far as infiltration is concerned? It's not terrorist groups, it's obviously being done with the assistance of the Pakistan army.
Vishnu, 2 months ago, I was reading a statement of the police commissioner of Jammu and Kashmir, who said that infiltration has absolutely stopped. There is zero
That's
infiltration.
true. But as you can see, it's happened again. It's true what you're saying. Absolutely. It did go down a lot. There have been sporadic incidents. But this was a very deliberate, it was 6 people, one person killed, 4 ran away, and this boy captured.
No, I think it's not Pakistan's state policy to allow its soil to be used by these terror groups. Pakistan has taken visible action against Lashkar-e-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed and other groups who target India. Maybe, obviously, if you would need to share the evidence with Pakistan authorities, so some action can be taken, and maybe there needs to be confidence building measures on the both sides so that these attempted infiltrations can be curbed. and checked on the Pakistani side as well.
You know, that weaponry is, it's standard issue for the Pakistan army. Those grenades are made in your factories which support only the Pakistan army.
But Vishnu, these are still Indian claims. They need to be corroborated. Like maybe I'm not denying the infiltration didn't take place, but like still,
No, but
how
you see,
can we Pakistan believe like?
but Omar, it's so obvious. There's footage, there's photographs. It's not been cooked up. It's not. We are all independent journalists. If something is cooked up,
Vishnu,
we say it's
Vishnu,
cooked
I
up.
would say
It's absolutely obvious.
Ever since India took the decision to abrogate Article 370, the infiltration has actually declined. It
Yes.
should have gone up.
Yes,
Pakistan
but-
was aggrieved.
But it's happened now, sir. That's just the point. All right, I just want to go back to General Dua because this is a short discussion. General Dua, in a situation like this, and with the situation in Afghanistan changed dramatically, as a former very senior military commander in this area, what would you be thinking? Would you worry about a potential redeployment of terrorist assets along the line of control more than what we have seen even in the past?
Vishnu, whether or not there is a ceasefire in place and whether or not situation has improved, like you just pointed out, a situation has improved after dilution of Article 370. We, the security forces, always need to watch with concern the possibility of infiltration and terrorist violence. More so now that the situation in Afghanistan has come to such a pass where it evokes memories of 3 decades ago, where the terrorist stream was redirected towards Kashmir across the LOC. So now we also need to watch that dynamic with that point of view.
Right.
So it is always a cause of concern. I'd just like to make one comment on my co-panelist, his statement. He said he's right to say that okay, you must give us evidence, and this is we need to have evidence on this, whether he was from Pakistan. You see, there is the rub. Pakistan uses the deniability card. Terrorists are infiltrated across the LOC, and then they want us to give them evidence.
And we've given them endless evidence in the past.
No, and you give them evidence. So there is a deniability card. Whereas when we did the operation Trans-LOC raid called Surgical Strike, when I was the corps commander there, or later the Jabba Top near Balakot, we took ownership. We announced to the world, we rang up, our DGMO rang up DGMO of Pakistan and said, we've carried out this operation, and we've done it because you did Uri or because you did Pulwama. So that is the kind of difference that I would now, today is also coincidentally the day when Surgical Strike was carried out 5 years ago. So I thought it pertinent to point this out.
All right, gentlemen, I'd like to thank you very much for joining us. It is a frightening reality that this sort of thing continues to take place when all that people want is peace on the ground. Thank you for joining us. Well, we're going to end this program with a very special interview. I spoke to the author Chetan Bhagat earlier on today. We spoke not just about his new book, but also about his views on the political crisis in Punjab and within the Congress. In fact, I began by asking Chetan about the fairly crazy political developments in India, whether it was Goa or Punjab. At the moment, Chetan, out of the country. But what do you have to say about the meltdown in the Congress in Punjab and also the loss of a very senior leader, Mr. Falero, in Goa within 24 hours, that to the Trinamool Congress?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it almost feels unreal. Like, I know some people are calling it a meltdown, but it is too unbelievable that someone would let this happen. I know Congress is not going through the best of times, but Punjab was where they had a decisive victory. It wasn't just a scraped through victory. They were around. Sure, in some of the recent polls for the new election, they were not in the first place, but still they were very much there in the picture. So to kind of I understand there's some anti-incumbency or whatever, there may be some factors, but to kind of do this kind of juggling around and just shifting around just seems very, very bizarre.
Right.
And with no comment in public from their senior leadership, from the Gandhi family.
So, Chetan, people have questioned that leadership issue. I mean, you're referring to that in the Congress ad nauseum for the last many years. But in a situation like this, when you are losing a state leader in this manner, as these Congress was the Congress chief in Punjab, you've already asked one particular chief minister, Amrinder Singh, to step down. You've got a new chief minister, and all of this starts happening. People in his cabinet overnight start resigning. What happens next?
Yeah, that's when you talk of leadership, it isn't just about face. A lot of people mistake leadership to be, are people in India looking for a change from the Gandhi family, or is it about the Gandhi family, or who should be the face? Leader is the face. But leader is not just the face. A leader is also the decision maker. And especially in crucial times. I mean, such crucial situations don't come every day, but when they do, it all comes down to the man or woman at the top. And I mean, even the Congress has, look at the history of the Congress, like a Mrs. Indira Gandhi in the past, she had to take some really, really tough decisions, and she did, whether it was, making the Congress or whatever. So I think that's what comes through, that when there is a crisis, does it quickly get corrected, or does it escalate and become worse? BJP has had crisis. It's not like they haven't had, but they are very quickly corrected. It's almost like, like an ambulance goes, quickly puts the maram patti, and are we fine? We fine. Back to usual. But here, there was a little bit of a problem in Punjab. And then that little bit of problem could have been addressed with some maram patti, maybe some pills, maybe some management. And then it became worse and worse and worse. And we are like at a situation where the doctors come out and said, I'm sorry, we have to amputate something. Now, we don't know what to amputate and what to keep. It's not even that clear that what to keep. I mean, if you were a Congress now, even with the best of minds and brains, what should the Congress do? It's not an easy answer now.
It's not an answer. But I want to talk to you a little bit before we leave about your book. It's called 400 Days. You say it's your best book. Why is that the case?
Okay, now every author says it's the best book. But it is the best book because of the simple reason that we were in a lockdown. And a writer writes best when they have no distractions. They are not doing anything else. And people say this about me, that you can find Chetan doing anything but writing. So I'm all over the place. Having said that, I do write. This is my 10th book. But this book has been written when I was not literally allowed to do anything. I couldn't travel. I do a lot of motivational talks. That's kind of like a business. And that's like all gone. So I was taking 100 flights a year. It came down to 0. And then I would be part of some movie making or doing some show, attending some lit fest, some conclave, some, I don't know, NDTV summit.
Why not? Absolutely.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So none of that is happening. So all those things are really fun. I'm not saying they're not good. They are fun. That's why I go to them. But then you don't have that focus in writing. But this book, 400 Days, is important, that I could put full focus in it. And the topic is really important. Vishnu, something which is not being discussed so much. We are very careful when our children talks to a stranger in a mall or in a metro station. If you see some stranger, talk to your child, even from a distance, you'll be very worried. Who is this person? Will you let your child stand in the balcony and talk to a stranger on the road every day? No. But now every child has a phone. We are giving them phones because, for Zoom classes and school, I mean, even 13, 14-year-olds are having phones. Who is talking to them? Anybody in the world can reach them. Anybody. There's a gateway to their mind, a child's mind. Any nefarious character can reach. And are our children safe? And it's a story of a missing child. That's the mystery. And of course, it has the romance, drama, humor and all. But this issue is, I think, it's always nice to bring out an issue that needs to be discussed, that applies to everyone, but it's not being discussed enough. Almost every child has a smartphone now. I mean, they have to, because how do you do school? So even every socio-economic class, you have children who are doing online.
So who's dealing with this issue then?
Yes, that too. That too. I think this is my 10th book, and I think I've written love stories, and I think they need to get richer. They need to get deeper, move on from college romances. Love happens in many ways and forms, and it's more complex to do an infidelity story. It's much more complex to do a story on infidelity, but it's also a love story. I mean, infidelity is also love. It could be, or is infidelity never love? So I think that was again nice to explore in this book.
No, I mean, infidelity being a large theme, in your book, which is what I meant to ask you. But what is the choice of themes and the greater sophistication, perhaps in your writing or in your thoughts, reflect? Do you feel intellectually more enamored of certain things and want to write about them now, something you perhaps wouldn't have broached maybe 5 years ago?
Definitely. Firstly, of course, are we ready as a society to talk about it? I mean, if I had today, it's okay to explore the idea of infidelity. I'm not saying I'm supporting infidelity. I'm just saying to see all aspects of it, the good, the bad. Why does it happen? Why should it happen? Should it not happen? The Indians are far more tolerant now. Maybe we've consumed so much of this OTT content, which is really pushing the envelope, very edgy. So people are quite okay with this kind of stuff now. Also, like I said, on children's safety, on smartphones. I mean, it's not that only the elite or the rich have smartphones. Every middle classes also, children have phones now. So I feel this issue of internet safety for children is not really been discussed as much. So yes, for me, I've grown as a writer. I've become more mature as a writer. I'm more confident that I can handle it. It's not easy to handle stories like this and present them at the mass level. You can make a very niche kind of book which explores and only a few people read it, but when you're talking of a book that will be read at every corner of the country, and you're taking on an issue like infidelity or a missing child or internet predators of children, I mean, those are like, and to keep a Chetan Bhagat fun book, that's difficult, and that excited me about 400 days, and hopefully people will like that.
All right. Well, Chetan, thank you so much for being with us, joining us today. It's been wonderful speaking to you, learning a little bit about your new book. It's going to be out on the 8th of October, and indeed getting your idea on the political developments in the country. We're completely out of time on this program. From all of us here, goodbye.